If I told myself in my early 20s that I would be awake at 7:30, I would not only be awake, I would be showered, I'd be dressed, I would be in a meeting.
Ugh.
On a Monday,
Yeah.
I would be extremely upset with myself. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Wednesday Night Gentlemen Multimedia Empire official podcast. You are listening to episode number 90. This is a show where we like to talk about things like comic books, movies, TV shows, video games, political discourse sometimes, but always Star Trek. I'm your host, Tactic Angel, and with me is Midget Radio, my murderous socialist friend.
Hello,
Midget Radio, how are you?
I'm doing okay, Tactic Angel. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm like the world is on an upturn for me right now.
Hey, that's good. That's good to hear.
It all started after I got home from work.
That's great, man.
Tomorrow it will go back down again.
Oh.
It's unfortunate.
Well, you want to enjoy this time. You want to seize the moment, and you're doing so by doing a WNG episode. It's time well spent.
It really is. Just think of the amount of joy that we add to the world.
So much.
And that just makes me happy. That makes me happy. It's like giving to charity.
It is.
What we're doing right now is basically charity.
It really is. It really is.
If you were giving to charity, what would you be drinking?
I would be drinking the Black Butte Porter from Deutsches Brewery. Deschutes Brewery. Deschutes Deutsches in Oregon.
All right, so
It's pretty good.
if there was an insider who knows what the hell you're talking about, they probably know what you're talking about.
It's pretty good.
Everyone else is unsure about how to even begin spelling it.
It's in Oregon, guys. So, Bend, Oregon. That's where they're located.
All right.
Family and employee owned.
I'm drinking something a little bit different.
Okay.
And probably not as family oriented. I'm drinking Conjugal Visit.
Oh, God.
I'm drinking the Apple Pie Moonshine. Oh, shit.
Oh, boy.
It is from County Jail Distillery.
Nice.
There is a picture of a bearded fellow holding a leggy lass,
Nice.
as you can probably imagine. Conjugal Visit, the sort of thing that people like John Rambo could really use.
How did you feel purchasing that? Were you proud?
Unrepentant, because
Or was it some poor attendant there? Some poor fucking cashier? You just shove it right in her fucking face. I'm buying this, bitch.
it was a black man.
That seems even more aggressive, Tactic Angel.
I handed him the bottle, and I say unrepentant because if you see a bottle of moonshine called Conjugal Visit,
Yeah.
I mean, what is there to explain?
Nothing.
It's moonshine. It's apple pie. There's a lumberjack running away with a woman on the front of the bottle. I don't understand.
That's weird. I wonder what the story is there.
Yeah, me too. So anyway, you have deprived me of my segue.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. That's how interested I was in the alcohol.
I understand. In any case, subject over. We're now going to be talking about the actual subject of today's podcast, which is a movie. It is called Rambo: First Blood.
Is that the one we're talking about?
That is the... Is it not?
I feel like the one we're talking about is Rambo: Last Blood.
Rambo Last Blood?
Last Blood. I think the first Blood came out a while ago.
That's what I have written down. Did I say something different?
I'm pretty sure you did, yeah.
All right, so the Rambo saga is the story of a lone man,
Shit.
John
Moonshine.
Rambo, a veteran of and sort of a counterculture iconoclast. This started in his first movie where he runs into the woods and defends himself from a corrupt sheriff, as I recall. There are 3 additional movies where he pretty heavily leans into the action movie sort of territory. And now we are joined for Rambo, what we are promised to be one last bit of blood. John has retired to Arizona, where there's apparently a forest and some trees and a flood.
They
and
do
a Mexican
exist, yeah.
lady,
Yeah.
and a Mexican lady's granddaughter and some horses and a ranch.
Yeah.
Things go bad. John has to kick some ass in Mexico. Midget Radio.
Yes.
How did I do?
I mean, that's pretty much what happens. Yeah. Not
All right.
bad.
Did you enjoy the film?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I really didn't. I'm a little mad at this movie, actually.
Okay. Expound upon your anger.
Spoiler free. So I think John Rambo is like a legend. I mean, he's a legacy, action hero. And I think one of the things that was cool about Rambo, like the movies take kind of a weird turn. Like you have the first movie, which is kind of an interesting exploration, I would say, of this character a little bit. It's
and
like
he's not really spoiling for a fight in that one.
No, he's not. And it's actually a really strange movie that straddles this line between like, this is kind of a weird and interesting take on a Vietnam soldier coming home and having to deal with like, I mean, basically like he's got like some PTSD and stuff going on, and he's treated kind of shittily like by this sheriff. And it's even more poignant, I think, because he is like a Vietnam, veteran, and they were not treated very well when they got home. And so it's just interesting. There's a real interesting, like, kind of a character study going on in that movie, but it's also a fucking ridiculous action movie in certain spots too. But it manages to like straddle this line. It manages to be able to like do stuff like that, and it still feels like a legit kind of character piece a little bit. It's just a weird movie, and it's a good movie. And sorry, go ahead.
There is that. I'm going to definitely agree. It's a strange movie insofar as it was actually kind of ahead of its time in terms of dealing with the psychological trauma of war.
Yes, it really was. Yeah.
And then it was also a mostly full-on action movie as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And particularly peculiar was fighting the United States authority.
Yes. Yeah.
And also being kind of also unapologetically American at the same time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it's an interesting movie. So please go ahead and
so that, I mean, it's a really interesting movie. And then, like you said in the introduction, I mean, they definitely turn into kind of pure action film territory from there. But I like Rambo 2 and 3. Like, it doesn't bother me that it kind of ditches a lot of the stuff that Rambo 1 did and just turns Rambo into basically action god. Those are still like fun movies, and you still have like something in Rambo. You still like, he's still the soldier, he's still this like badass fucking killing machine, but he is a soldier, and he's, doing his duty, and it's for something. Like he's working for something. And I feel like in the last movie a little bit, and then definitely in this movie, I just feel like all of that is gone. This movie seemed absurdly, unreasonably fucking dark and kind of meaningless.
Oh man,
and
you are completely destroying all of my piercing questions.
Am I? So yeah, I just feel like whatever heart and soul there was in the Rambo movies before is fucking absolutely gone in this movie.
Well, okay, Here's the thing. I have two minds about that. Rambo starts out being an atypical action film.
Yeah.
It steers hard into the action film and away from the atypical.
Yeah.
And I mean, it does so first by Rambo 2, and Rambo 2 is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, part of it's like Julia Nixon.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
She did things for me.
Sure.
And like, great. And I haven't seen like the last Rambo, which is just called Rambo.
Yeah,
And
it's not good.
What a weird naming convention, by the way.
Yeah.
First Blood. Number 2 is Rambo, semicolon. First Blood
Yeah.
2.
Part 2. Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, okay.
Yeah.
The next one's just Rambo 3, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yep.
right. And then Rambo.
Rambo.
And then Rambo Last Blood.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not missing anything.
Yeah.
So, like, in a way, I kind of feel like it's a return to form insofar as this is a very atypical action film
Yeah.
that is also somewhat typical.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more typical than the original, but you can kind of feel them steering back towards the atypical. And that was just kind of weird. And in a certain sense, I appreciated it, but at the same time, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
The darkness is pretty hard to deal with.
I hate it. Yeah, I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it.
Let me put it this way. Is there not enough glamour in this violence?
It is not. It's it's definitely not it's not a glamour issue.
There's a little okay, so like the 80s action film is a little sanitary when it comes to its violence, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The people who deserve what they deserve get what they deserve.
Yeah.
And like even if you go into RoboCop and like squibs for days.
Yes, yeah.
There's a certain unsympathetic nature to the characters even as they get blown away because it's like, well, you know, they're trying to like profit off of war and terrible stuff and whatever. In this one, there's definitely sort of
yeah.
The bystander kind of walks into it and then it only gets darker from there.
Yeah. Honestly, sorry, go ahead. Keep going.
I mean, it's just hard to love your character when, when there isn't that level of glamour. There's a certain Vin Diesel, like, I'm going to say the hardest thing I can say.
Yeah.
Sort of thing to Rambo, which I don't really remember. Because I remember him being almost like, I don't want to say like cowardly or anything like that, but he was very apprehensive to like express himself.
Yeah, I would say so.
And in this one, he's just like, you know, people, bad things and dark hearts and whatever.
Yeah.
It only get worse. It only gets worse. People don't change like that. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sly, did you write this?
I don't know if he did. He wrote the first Rocky movie. God. Like
I think he also might have had a part in Copland, which is a really ridiculously underrated film.
Yes, it is. It really is. Yeah.
But like this is, I don't know. I feel like it's parts of like The Expendables 2.
Yep.
Plus Rocky. Not Rocky. Plus Rambo.
Yeah.
Plus Vin Diesel.
Yeah. And a little bit of like, so toward the end of the movie, it started feeling like just straight up torture porn to me. Like Eli Roth, fucking Hostel, just mindless torture porn.
Yeah, like this is the same problem that we had with like Sabotage.
Yes. Yeah.
Which was just vindictive to a fault.
Yep.
And yeah. Almost in one case comical, but we'll talk about that more in the spoilers.
Yeah. Overall, I just found this was colossally disappointing.
In terms of action film set piece porn, was there anything really outstanding about this?
No, I wouldn't say so. No, not really.
I would also agree.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like the brutality montage.
Yes.
And
yeah.
There was a part of me that got into part of it.
Yeah.
But it ended very poorly.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
So, actually, this is really surprising because I know how much you like that movie with the axe.
Oh yeah. Holy shit! Bullet to the head.
Bullet to the head.
That's a great movie. That's a great movie.
Sure, it is.
It's great.
But in any case, like, it's not a great movie, and then I understand that both of us kind of enjoyed it.
I love it. He's so much more fun in that movie too, and plus there's a way better cast. But
he is better.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spotty mustaches and beards in this.
Yeah, that's true.
I look at the people in this who are the villains, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I think I can grow a better beard than that. And I have enough shame not to try.
Yeah.
In any case, we're going to try to rate this thing.
All right.
Midget Radio on the Amazon 1 to 5 stars. What would you give Rambo Last Blood?
God. I think I'm going to do 1.5 stars. That half is pretty generous too, I think.
Well, I wasn't like really against it. I was just really disappointed.
Yeah.
So I kind of actually feel like you're right in the ballpark with the 1.5.
Yeah.
And as much as it pains me to have to kind of give an action movie a bad score, I'm probably gonna go with the 1.5.
Fair enough.
I dare you to challenge me, sir.
I mean, we agree. We must be fucking right. So
that's how it works. I think we agreed on that.
Yep.
All right, so we'll jump into the spoiler territory.
Alrighty.
Not that it really matters. Now, the one thing I will say about this is that this movie does not have any crazy plot twists.
That is true.
And one of the things, as we've been kind of slowly trying to dissect what makes the action film work, is no more than one plot twist.
Yeah.
And it probably can't be too stupid.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, and this movie is... I don't know that I would say that it's straightforward, but it is very simple.
Okay, so the line is definitely easy to follow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's no point where it takes like a 170 degree turn.
No.
Or anything like that.
No.
It's, it moves, there are developments, etc.
There's quite a lot of literal back and forth, but...
Are you surprised at the ease with which one can transport a decapitated head across the border?
Well, I think did he not? I thought he threw it out of the car before he actually crossed the border.
I'm not really sure where that was.
I'm not sure either. I figured he was leaving some sort of trail, but yeah. God.
I guess you'd want to leave that in Mexico so that it was slightly more likely that someone would find it that would care.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was actually kind of the first, okay, well, this is going places I'm not super into.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, and actually two of the people who were in the theater with me actually walked out after this scene, and I was like, I kind of get it. But it was when like he finally rescues her and he's bringing her back to the States, and she fucking dies on the way.
Yeah.
I was out at that. At that point I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. This is totally unnecessary. It doesn't add anything interesting. Now I don't understand what anybody's doing, and I hate this.
Now it's just like total, like everybody hates everything.
Yeah,
and everybody needs to die.
Everything is shit. Everything is fucking dark. Nothing good can live. Like this is where it lost like the soul for me, because it's like I get John Rambo fighting for her. I get that. That makes sense to me. But this bullshit, she dies and now it's just straight everything is black and terrible and I'm just on a vengeance spree. I can't get behind it. Like,
so I mean like, okay, so the one thing I'm trying to intellectually like swallow this idea, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay. The first Rambo's a little bit hard to deal with because, of course, the people that you're fighting are the United States.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's dealing with PTSD, and it's dealing with kind of the liberal hatred of the military.
Yeah.
At the time. And okay, it's actually cutting against the grain.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, I see this, and like I think she's supposed to have probably OD'd on heroin, not of her own volition,
right?
But like certainly, like you look at that as a sign of the times, and sort of to what degree is this movie trying to be socially relevant?
I don't know.
There's a sense like if I had watched the first Rambo in what 1982,
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
I probably wouldn't have understood it because I wasn't old enough. But if I had been of sound mind and body as I am now,
you were like
as
46
everyone
in that time,
as everyone knows,
yeah.
Then maybe I would have been sort of disgusted by that movie in the same way that I'm kind of like turned off by this movie.
No.
I don't know. So it's the like, okay, you watch the Star Trek Continues Hillary Clinton episode, and you think, how would I have reacted like 60 years ago if I had watched Let This Be Your Last Battlefield?
Okay, yeah.
Now, how would I have felt about that? Now, you know, there are lots of different angles to kind of ask that question. And certainly with the Hillary Clinton episode, which is called "What Ships Are For," as I recall, like you can. No, it's not.
Yeah, that's
it's
the black and white
that.
episode, right?
That's
it's
the black
Winds
and
of
white
Change, right? Winds of Change.
The Winds of Change.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. I feel so ashamed.
Oh, tactical episode over.
Yeah, the Winds of Change. So if I had watched that like 30, 40, 50 years ago, maybe it would have been different. And maybe if I watched Let That Be Your Last Battlefield 40, 50 years ago, I would have been like, well, that's nonsense. She's black on the wrong side. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And, you know, probably not, but
I don't know, man, because I guess to some degree I struggle to see what is all that socially relevant about this movie.
I don't know. I think to some degree you could say the opioid issue to some degree, like white slavery is a thing.
Yeah.
And it's pretty terrible, and the cartels are definitely very, very guilty of doing it. Thousands of people are literally like encouraged into this system by our sort of wonky immigration system.
But none of that, but like none of those aspects are why this movie is bad, I don't think.
Well, I mean, like, I think you're definitely right when you get to the like it's too dark thing.
It's absurdly dark, yeah.
It's like, okay, Rambo's got like a grandniece or something.
Yeah.
I
don't know exactly what the relationship is there. Yeah.
A pseudo grandniece at the very least.
Yeah.
A sort of adopted granddaughter.
Yeah.
Through some weird thing. And then like she's like, I found who my father is.
Right.
And he's like, you don't want to go there.
Yeah.
She's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to go, so I don't care.
Yeah.
He's like, people like that don't change. And you're like, okay,
fine.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. But she goes anyway. And literally all of the worst things happen to her.
Right. And that's where it just gets absurd. Because if you stack it up, like it's not like getting basically becoming like or getting abducted into like the sex trade and becoming like a forced prostitute, getting addicted to heroin because that's how they control you, all that shit. Like that's already horrible. But like when you stack it up with she went to Mexico because a friend of hers found her father. Her friend is the one that deliberately handed her over to the cartel to be sold into sex slavery. And then when she actually did meet her father, he was the worst piece of goddamn shit. And like, I hate you. I never cared about you, and your mom went and died. It's like, how much of this do we really need in this movie?
It was absurd.
It's way over the top.
Well, it was also so abrupt. It's like, hi, Dad.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, baby, you look great. Oh, you remind me of your mother. I'm so happy for you. Etc. Whatever.
I don't give a fuck about you.
And it's like, why did you leave me? It's basically because I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I basically banged your mom because she was smoking hot.
Yeah.
And then you popped out and it was like, I don't really want this, but like, this is pretty good for me. And then she died and I was like, fuck this.
Fuck this.
It's just like,
yeah.
This guy goes from 0 to 60 pretty quick.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. And then to top it off, Rambo finally rescues her and she dies on the way back home.
Did you find it like, okay. I have not spent a lot of time around dead bodies, but like I was like really unnerved at how pale she was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for whatever reason, like first of all, this was bad. Like you rescue a person whose life is already like really fucked up.
Yeah.
And then you're like, how are we going to deal with this? I got an easier answer. Let's just kill her.
Yeah.
So we kill her off in the script and it's like, get out the makeup, guys.
Yeah.
She's going to be the whitest person in this movie.
And then it makes the fact that she died makes the rest of the movie make so much less sense.
Well, I mean, at that point, it's just rage.
It is, but it's like, wait, you got her back, so maybe you invent some reason for the cartel to come after you, and then you got to protect her while she's at the house, right? That makes more sense. That already makes more sense instead of this weird, like.
I'm gonna go to Mexico. I'm going to decapitate this guy.
Yeah.
And people are going to definitely know that it was me.
For sure.
Like okay, I think you can make this better by like him literally carving V's into people's faces.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Yeah,
that would have at least been like, because like otherwise it's like, it's that old dude. I told you should have killed him, and you're like, how do you know?
Yeah,
all you have is a guy who's been stabbed in the face, in the neck, in the heart, in the junk, all over the place. He's been stabbed everywhere.
Yeah,
and then I guess there was the photo with the knife through it.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
supposed to drive our entire, like, that's the entire motivation. Everybody in the audience looks at that and you're like, oh yeah, they're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I guess a whole bunch of heavily armed cartel members take their Fast and Furious guns over the border.
Yeah.
I think
so. Yeah.
I think that the United States border with Mexico is more porous than a lot of people would like, but I think it's significantly less porous
Well,
is portrayed in this movie.
I did notice, I think when they actually did do that, they came out of a tunnel. So presumably they would have gone into one of the tunnels that, goes under the border, which those do exist. So that I was like, all right, maybe that I can kind of buy that.
I wasn't 100% sure because it was kind of edited together pretty quick in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you that. That there was some sort of funny business in terms of the fast travel there.
Yeah.
But I mean, they come out and it just seems really weird because if it's driven by rage, I don't feel like the logical thing for a lot of people is, okay, I'm gonna go over there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do all this murder.
Yeah.
And I'm going to lure them back here.
Yeah. To my Home Alone setup.
Horse farm.
Yeah.
I have created a series of tunnels, which is not really explained other than the fact that I am a crazy person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe it. John.
Sure.
You should have gone to that psychologist.
Yep.
But at the same time, it seems a little thin.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Like, if you and I were to build a tunnel, it would have a purpose, right?
Yeah.
There would be something neat at the end of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And there could be lots of tunnels, and most of them lead to nowhere. But
that's what it seemed like in his place. Most of the tunnels went nowhere, and then there was a workshop.
Yeah. Right?
I didn't really understand that. But
I got bored. I started digging circles.
Yep.
And I have a lot of high-grade explosives.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, he lures him in this. Yeah, it is Home Alone. It's a significantly more murderous Home Alone.
Oh, very much. Very extreme. Way more violent. But
strangely abrupt.
Yes, it is.
Because I think the last action set piece is 10 or 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
And he murders literally every Mexican.
I feel way more than actually showed up to his place. Way more.
It feels okay. So they showed up, as far as I could tell, in 2 trucks and an SUV.
Right? And one of those SUVs got blown up.
And no, maybe it was 3, 2 trucks and 2 SUVs.
Yeah.
In any case, it was it didn't really work, right?
No.
The math started to not work out. You're like, there are too many stormtroopers.
Yeah, there's way too many.
Some sort of clown car.
And it was so it was cut so quickly where it's somebody, for some reason, somebody encounters one of the traps in the tunnels and they get their face impaled or their neck impaled or they just get ripped apart or whatever the fuck. And then Rambo shoots them. It's one after another. Somebody gets impaled, Rambo shoots him. Oh, this other guy over in this area gets impaled. Rambo shoots him. I mean, it's just back to back. Is he just everywhere? Is he in all the parts of the tunnel to finish off every single fucking person that gets snared by a trap?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
I mean, if he was gonna do that, he should have had a next door neighbor. And it was Scott Adkins or whatever.
That'd be awesome.
He comes back to finish off everybody he didn't get in close range.
Oh, that'd be fucking great.
So curiously, okay, so there was a big sort of to do about this movie.
Yeah,
and I know you hate talking about this movie.
I do hate it, but
did you know, because you saw this movie,
yeah,
you are a racist?
Well, I'm a racist and I voted for Trump.
I didn't realize the second part.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, well, I watched this movie, so that's what happened retrospectively.
You watched this movie, it transported you back in time.
Yeah.
And you voted for Trump.
I voted for Trump, yeah. These Mexicans. Literally all of these Mexicans.
So, God. Like, the complaints about this movie are so overstated.
Yeah.
Like, you could just say it's a bad movie.
It is that, but...
And that would be enough.
Yeah.
But, like, people are like, this movie is terrible and racist because Mexicans. And you're like...
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Mexicans are not allowed to be bad guys, Tactic Angel.
That doesn't make any sense. And, okay, so, like, if you're counting the number of people who have lines, and we'll just say, let's count the number of people who have lines in Spanish.
Yeah.
And that will be a proxy for Mexicans.
Yeah.
It's around 50-50 people who are good and people who are not good.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Because you've got John Rambo. He's hanging out with What's-Her-Face's grandma.
Yeah.
You have What's-Her-Face.
Yeah.
You have the doctor who treats him.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about him.
You have the journalist.
Yeah.
Like, these people aren't bad people.
No.
And the number, like, you have several henchmen, but you also have a very small collection of, Spanish speakers who are evil.
Yeah.
And so, like, it struck me as weird, particularly going into the film when everybody's like, wah, 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 wah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah.
Just like, take it down a notch, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
it's stupid.
The outrage here is misplaced.
Yeah.
And it makes all of the other outrage a little more pointless. But just take it down a notch, because the fact of the matter is, if you go into Mexico, there are going to be Mexican people there.
Yeah.
And some of them are going to be good.
Yeah.
And some of them are not going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And this seems like, I would say, any other place.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why you need to criticize this film for being racist when it's just not good.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I don't know. It's just lazy. People are just like weirdly triggered by stuff. I mean, I don't want to be an asshole, Tactic Angel, but it's sort of like yelling at Captain Marvel because there's a lady in it. Lady power, and lady power is very triggering for some people because of fucking politics. Like, I am not saying that you did that, but I have seen that shit.
I'm sure there's some dark corner of the internet that you're very...
It's not that. It's not like it's hard to find, man. It's on fucking Rotten Tomatoes. Like, it's right there alongside that you're not allowed to have fucking Mexicans be bad. Like, it's the same stupid fucking we can't watch movies anymore without injecting politics into it. We're not allowed to enjoy them anymore.
Everything is Trump.
Everything is dark and terrible. Maybe Rambo was right, but
it's just I mean, like, you go in, you buy your ticket, you're like, I want one for Rambo, and I'm gonna give you the face and hand you your fucking ticket. You're like, okay,
I was fine. I don't think anyone cared that I was gonna see Rambo, but
and it's like, it's not a good movie. And
no,
like, if you want to address, okay, for one, like, the darkness really bothers me because, like, it's bad enough when a movie's like rapey, because that's like really uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but then it's like, we're gonna take it an extra step, and she's gonna die.
Yeah,
and you're like, well, that's not heroic.
No, it's not. Like, it's, and his whole like reaction to it is the furthest thing from heroic. It's pure like God, it's purely, and I was trying to think about this, alongside other movies that we've seen where, like, even a movie like Peppermint, right? Where, I mean, she's just out to get the guys who, like, killed her family or whatever. And that's not that was a way better movie than this.
Peppermint was a good movie. I
Yeah.
think we both liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. But it didn't feel as, like, relentlessly fucking dark. Where it's like you got the feeling that, like, she was fighting for her family and for other people's families, and, like, that this wasn't just, like, mindless fucking rage vengeance.
Well, okay. The other thing is, like, there's a certain sense that her vengeance is heroic.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. Yeah.
And it is couched in the same sort of, well, she probably does have some mental problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they play it pretty straight, but there are a couple of really, like, kick-ass sort of lines and things that she does.
Yeah.
That just edge it over into, really fun action, and it's satisfying.
It is satisfying. Yeah, like, you do feel something for it. And I think, like, they did a good job too of kind of building that up, where she was, she went the legal route and the courts failed her, and, there was this, like, real obvious, like, man, justice wasn't fucking served here. And here it's just like, I mean, like, the torture porn aspect of it is what I think makes it even more disgusting. Cause it is, like, I mean, at the end of the fucking movie,
we've already had decapitation.
Yeah.
And now it's like, the way that the film is going to end is we're going to pin a guy to the wall.
Yeah.
With arrows. And by the way, seems unlikely.
Yeah.
And then excardiation.
Right? What the fuck, dude? Why? It's just sadistic. Like, it's just straight up sadism. And I'm not. Yeah. That's not the guy. That's not my hero, man. That guy's not fighting for anything that I want to be a part of. Like, that's fucking sick. And it's depressing.
Yeah. I mostly agree. I mean, I have been quoted as, so, like, there are some pretty animal people who are involved in organized crime.
Yes.
And like, people who will literally, like, flay the skin off of their victims and then drop them while still alive into a vat of acid. Yeah. And I have said, essentially, I think that we should shoot them into the sun.
Sure.
Because to me, that is kind of like the ultimate, we are getting rid of them. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I still find, like, the excardiation, and it's just, I don't know. It's just a little too visceral and a little too dark. Yeah. And it's like the same thing that we talked about with, like, Expendables 2. Yep. And you're like, I have a bag with someone's head in it. Yeah. You're like,
what am I supposed to think of that, man? Because I'm not into it. All right, you took him down. Justice was served, bad guy taken care of. Now we move on.
Yeah,
right?
We do not need Jean-Claude Van Damme's decapitated head.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand the motivation really behind that. And I thought, like, it was kind of, like, apparent from the beginning. The first cartel dude that he accosts at the car, and it's like, he's like, I mean, he somehow just basically presses his hand like he's in fucking Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Like, just pushes his hand into the dude's collarbone and just rips it out somehow. Like, what the fuck is this? Why is this happening? Like, you shot him in the leg. That was great. I get it. He's in pain. Now what are we doing? Like, now it's just getting weirdly creative in a sick serial killer type way. And I'm not into that. Like,
I mean, he took out a knife, and then they cut to the other side of the body, and he has like a plastic heart in his hand. You're like,
yeah.
what?
Why? Man, this movie was such a fucking it just so completely. I wish someone could explain to me, like, hey, I have this idea for a movie. It's Rambo. It's gonna be Rambo's last movie. This cartel kidnaps, like, I don't know, his daughter, and he has to go get her. How is that not a good movie? God damn it. Like, so how do you fuck that up?
I think it's possible that you could have the daughter character die. I think the way that she dies is a little bit too, like, real.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
And so, like, okay, Rambo goes on a rampage. It's not exactly really... If he went on a just straight on rage fest and just started, like, wrecking everything, and then wrecked everything up until the moment that he couldn't wreck anymore, and he died.
Yeah.
Then you could be like, yeah, Rambo Last Blood. This guy went out like a fucking boss.
Yeah.
But instead, it's like, I don't know, he rips some guy's heart out, and then he sits down.
And I guess he's fine.
I mean, is he fine? Does he die? Does the top in Inception fall over? I mean, this isn't a thinking movie.
No.
Here. Like, show me what happens.
Yeah.
And like, because it's equally likely that what happens is he passes through the magical screen into cinema again.
Yeah.
And then it's like, this is just a flesh wound.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I don't know, man.
I'm glad I got a Last Action Hero reference.
You did a good job of that. I think, like, it's a really disappointing, like, final entry for John Rambo as a character. Because what did he go out on, man? Did
you understand what the fuck was happening in the first 5 minutes of this movie?
Oh, I don't know if I remember the first 5 minutes of this movie.
The flood. There's a whole bunch of water.
Oh, I don't remember any of that.
And he fails to save some woman's father or something.
Holy shit. I don't know. I don't remember any of that.
Okay.
Did I not see that? I was there. I saw the fucking previews. Huh. I don't remember that at all. I have no idea. So I have no idea what happened in the first 5 minutes of this movie.
All right. So anyway, it's just weird.
Yeah.
It's disappointing.
It is. And I liked the girl. I liked the young, whatever, the high school, college girl, whatever.
Yeah.
I liked her. She did a
fine job.
She did a good job. I kind of liked the relationship that she had with Rambo. I liked them together.
But she should have listened to them.
I mean, she should have listened to him. You know, what are you going to do? But yeah, I mean, I liked all of that. And so, yeah, for it to have played out this way, it just feels like a fucking waste. I don't know. It's just kind of a fucking waste of a movie. And I mean, I still love Stallone, but fucking hell.
It's also unfortunate because, like, you look at Stallone and he looks like a mutant at this point.
Yeah, he looks great. He looks great. I tell Kim all the time, if I could look like him when I'm 65, I mean, that's a life goal right there.
What does she say?
She's not into it, but I am.
I mean, you look at the guy and you're like, how much steroids? How much human growth hormone?
Just the right amount is the answer. The exact right amount.
Okay. Because the dude looks like bigger than he was back then.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
His face is puffier.
Yep.
And there's some like uncanny valley movement in his face.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just weird to watch it.
Like, it's great.
Yeah, I don't know.
I love him so much. God, I hate this movie though.
It actually is probably good that we saw a movie like this, because it clearly shows that both of us have the capacity to really dislike something that actually isn't good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Very
remember
true.
what we gave Atomic Blonde. I remember being really disappointed in the movie.
I bet that was probably 3 stars for me. You did enough to make me like it. That's about it.
The triple, quadruple, double take is absurd.
I get it. I get that. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't know that we learned a lot about action movies in this.
No, I don't think we did, except for that I guess it is possible for them to be way too fucking dark to where that's just not enjoyable. Like,
I think there's an element of like you have to have a hero.
You really do need that. Yeah.
And I don't know that we really outlined before that you need a hero.
You know, I think that is true, because I was actually thinking about that in comparison to like the John Wick movies, because John Wick is not a hero. He's not. So I was like, well, why do I enjoy the John Wick movies and not, something like this? And I mean, the very obvious reason for that is because it's next level stunt choreography.
Well, okay. So a hero in general just needs to be, obviously more moral than the people he's fighting.
Yeah.
And I don't know if ripping people's hearts out of their chest.
It's clearly not. It's clearly not. It's just, he's just a different animal.
It just seems like lechery versus sadism.
Mm-hmm.
Take your pick.
Yeah, I guess you guys go at each other, and I'm gonna go sit in a park and enjoy the birds. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, no, I think the hero element is kind of necessary. And I guess we've addressed that to some degree, because you do want to be able to invest in your main character.
You do, but like, it's not an absolute investment, because you get into characters like John Wick, you get into characters like Dredd, and to some extent they're either not very good characters, or they're not really characters at all.
Yeah, but
they are still better than the people that they're fighting.
Yes, yeah, Dredd especially, but yeah.
And I don't know. I think if you wanted to lay a finger on that, that's the thing that we walk away with out of this movie.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't work.
It doesn't. Yeah. Yeah. I think that makes sense.
Also, I had to look up what excardiation was, because I really wanted to use a word for ripping someone's heart out of their chest.
Yeah. It's Kano's fatality, right? Mortal Kombat.
Apparently it's a term that's occasionally used in like Mayan research.
Well, okay. I guess that makes a certain amount of sense.
I got this pyramid, I got a temple, whatever. We're going to find this virgin. Cut her heart out.
At least they had a good reason, right? They're just like, hey, we need to make sure the sun comes up tomorrow. That's something.
And damn it, it did every day. I disavowed this comment. Major Radio, do you have anything else you want to add to this?
I do not.
All right, we'll call it an episode then here. That is an episode number 90 of the Wednesday Night Gentlemen Multimedia Empire official podcast. Please give us a like if you've enjoyed this video, or head on over to our Facebook and whatever. I've completely screwed this whole thing up. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you again on episode number 91 of this podcast.
Bye-bye.